Hello and welcome to Go Ballistic, the Scottish Sun's regular Euro 2024 podcast. My name is Roger Hanna, this is my colleague Ben Ramage, and today in our first edition you'll hear from Sunsport columnist Gordon Strachan, you'll hear from Robert Grieve, our chief football writer, who's with the Scotland squad in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, and also from our football editor Derek McGregor, who's with the German squad as they begin preparations for Friday night's game in Munich. Now, I'm stuck in the office, as you can imagine. This lucky man is going with the Tartan Army to the Munich Arena on Friday night. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, you could say that. Honestly, I can't wait. The excitement has just been building, especially over the weekend. The Finland game was superb, and well, it was as good as it could be for a friendly. And yeah, Munich now, I just cannot wait to get there.
And we're sending a lucky omen, because Ben has been to one Germany v Scotland game on German soil. Now Ben, you have been in Germany at a Germany-Scotland game before. It didn't quite work out as we had hoped, a 2-1 defeat in a qualifier 8 or so years ago, but you did celebrate in a Ketchianya goal.
Yeah, and I've got to say it was one of the best celebrations I've had as a Scotland fan on the road, because nobody saw it coming. You know, Germany had just won the World Cup. They were absolutely favourites to blow us away. We made it very sticky for them, and then Anya ran pretty much the full length of the pitch and just curled it beautifully past Manuel Neuer. So hopefully we can stick another couple past the same goalkeeper on Friday night.
Yeah, and it does look as if he's going to be playing again. He's had a difficult season injury-wise, but it looks as if Julian Nagelsmann will stick with him for the game on Friday night.
Yeah, so again, it's interesting. We'll see. Hopefully, I'd like to think that our team is actually stronger now, so I'd like to think that we've got an even better chance of scoring one or two past him.
How have we got a chance though, Ben, joking aside?
I like to think so, yeah. I think you look at the way that Germany have been playing, I think they haven't exactly been at full pelt. They've also not played a competitive game for a very long time, and I think that really can make a difference. I think Steve Clarke sets us up so solidly, and I think if we can just get through the sort of early stages, the pressure will just start to absolutely pile on Germany, and I think that's the real hope, that's our real chance.
The news from Germany this morning, all 26 of Steve Clarke's players are training together for the first time. You were at Hampden on Friday night, Ben. He named a pretty strong starting lineup. Does that give us a hint of those who will start the game in Group A on Friday night?
Yeah, I think that'll be virtually the same team. I think McTominay is probably the real big call as to whether he's fit enough to come back in. I still think Christie did very well, and I think Christie has delivered for us in big games in the past, so I really wouldn't mind Christie. The other one for me would maybe be Porteous. I think you could see Porteous coming back into the defence. I don't think he's ever really let Scotland down. I think he's very solid, and he's got that sort of real battle in him that I'd like to see in Munich.
And a lot of Tartan will be asking, centre forward, there is no Lyndon Dykes, who might well have got the nod. Is it just a straight choice between Lawrence Shankland, who started and scored against the Finns, and Che Adams, who now looks fully fit?
Yeah, I think that's... I'm not envious of Clarke's choice, because it's such a difficult one. They both bring a lot. I think if you look at the Holland friendly, when Shankland did start, I thought he was superb. I thought he held the ball up really well. He brought everyone in. And I do think that he's maybe got that little bit of edge over Adams. But I think, alternatively, Adams, I would say, is a much better athlete. And we may well be doing an awful lot of running, trying to press high, trying to keep the ball up in the final third. So it is a really, really difficult choice. And I'm honestly not sure which one I would go for right now.
Well, listen, you enjoy your travels. We'll stay here and do the work, Ben. We'll make sure we get the podcast out, we get the paper out, we got all the digital content out. You go and enjoy a few Brauhaus visits over there.
That's very kind of you, thank you.
Gordon, welcome to the first episode of Go Ballistic. Thank you very much for your time. It's been a hectic weekend for Scotland since your debut column at the weekend. You would see that great civic reception for Steve and the players in Garmisch-Partenkirchen last night. As a player or as a manager, when you have travels like that at the weekend and a civic reception, are you just desperate to get away and get to the business of the football?
Yeah, it's a shame as well, because everybody's delighted to see you as a football player. We kind of we lack culture when we're a bit younger. Because maybe when a bit my age, you start to take it all in. But when you're younger, you go, "Oh, that's good, thanks. Let me get to the training field. Let me get to my bed, and let me get thinking about the game." So thanks very much. I seen John McGinn joined in. which was great, and that doesn't surprise me. But he'll be probably getting plenty for the players as we speak.
I would imagine it was going to ask. He was front and centre. When you were in the Scotland squad, who would have got that role?
Oh, listen, I did it all. 82, I stuck the sombrero. 86, yeah, I did all that, the sombreros, because like, oh yeah, great, come on, let's help you. And then you look back and go, oh. Then you look back at it a couple of years later, you think, oh, what was I thinking? But when you look back at my age, you think, it's a bit of fun. Who cares?
The training for the first time, I think, today is that when it begins to get real, when you get on to the training pitch on foreign soil and you begin to count down to the big game on Friday.
Yeah, and the players, they'll all be looking as the training starts. But there's two things that's got to go on here. The manager's got to try and disguise his starting 11 until he names it, because you don't want to get players, the mood swings. If they recognise right away in the first training session or whatever, if they're putting something together, that they're likely not to be in it, it can be a problem for that player. But the players they're looking for signs. As a manager, talking to me more than anybody else. As he put me in defensive positions, as he talked to him about a certain player on the other side. So there'll be players who'll be looking all through these training sessions coming up. Am I in? And even the ones who take it for granted, who we're all taking it for granted, they'll still be waiting for that last, these signals to see if they're the ones that are getting picked. And that's very hard for Steve as well, because you want to be precise in what you're giving the players. You want to give them as much information on the teams you're playing without giving too much away to the players that, you've been selected.
It looked a strong team he picked from the start against Finland on Friday. Will he, 4 days out from the Germany game, will he know his team, Gordon?
Yes, I think so now. Yeah, he'll know it now. He'll know the team now. He'll probably, he might swither. He'll know the system. He knows what he's got to do. Yes, probably as we sit here, there might be one or two that he might think, well, what do we go with here? It might be, at the moment, it looks like it might just be the wing back, right wing back. Ralston has always got to give you good energy, get forward, go forward. And probably the main striker, that'll be it. You've got Shea Adams and Shanklin. I thought that would probably be it at the moment. But that can give you sleepless nights as a coach, trust me.
And also, I know you're a fan of McTominay. McTominay, you would think, would come back in. Will there be a sleepless night telling the sort of the midfielder that drops out, if you like, Gordon, whether it's a Christie or it's a Gilmore or a McGregor?
It's difficult. It's difficult to do that. And I'm afraid that's the stress from, as he said, it was a big one for Craig Gordon to call. And as a manager, you go, right, and there's all sorts of things you think about. When's the right time to speak to him? When can I speak to him? Can I get him on his own? If I say, can I meet you in your room? He knows what's coming. There's all sorts of things coming through. You try and make it as painless as possible. But, it'll be hard for the player. But can I tell the player that it's probably worse for the manager? Seriously, it's probably worse for the manager. Because I've had that you're not playing thing at a national level, and I've also had to tell players they're not playing, and I found it worse to tell the players that they're not being selected. I thought it was much worse than taking the hit off you're not playing.
Gordon, that's great. Thank you very much for your time. We'll be keeping in touch with you right through these Euros. We'll speak to you again ahead of the big game on Friday night.
See you, Roger. Bye. Have a good day.
Elche football writer Robert Grieve is with the Scotland squad at their training base in Garmisch-Partenkirchen this morning. Robert, what's it like over there today?
Roger, thankfully it's dry. The weather yesterday, there was serious rain, storms, lightning, and obviously the civic reception. The players in the squad as they arrived yesterday had to be moved indoors. I think we all enjoyed that John McGinn video. As he get serenaded and involved with the leather posing clad locals there. But you can see behind me the players have started training. A fantastic setting with the mountains in a backdrop. So yeah, I think it's a good setting, and as I say, thankfully the weather's held off.
Scotland have had so many injury problems in the build-up to this tournament, Robert. Will Steve Clarke just be relieved he's got all 26 players on the grass today?
Yeah, I think everyone's out there. We can see, I think Stuart Armstrong training for the first time, which is great to see for him. And I think hopefully there's no any more issues, because it's clearly been a big problem for Steve Clarke over the last week. And getting here, I'm sure he'll just be happy to get everyone on the grass, as you say, and get through the first training session unscathed.
Just looking around the side, it is only a small town in Germany, but the locals do seem to have been engaged by the arrival of the Scotland squad.
Sorry, Roger, I could not hear you there, sorry.
I'm just saying the locals do seem to be engaged by the arrival of the Scotland squad. There's a decent crowd watching them.
Yeah, absolutely. We were speaking to the mayor last night as well, and she was so excited about the Scotland squad being here. And you can see behind me, there's hundreds of school kids and locals have turned out to see the Scotland squad training. It's an open training session. There's hundreds here trying to get a glimpse of the Scotland players. Andy Robertson, John McGinn, the big favourites, Trot McTominay, obviously, from Manchester United. So there's a real feel-good factor about the town, absolutely no doubt about it.
And after last night's civic reception, it was great, as you say, John McGinn dancing with the local Oompa band. Will the players themselves just be content to get on with the football now, Robert?
Yeah, I think the players are excited to be here. Obviously, it's been a long build-up. The training last week, obviously, in Glasgow, but I'd say that the weather here has been probably the biggest issue. It's been here for the last 2 or 3 days, and the weather's been atrocious. But thankfully, I think it's held up, and hopefully it will improve in the coming days. And
Steve Clarke, John Carver will get to work with the players now. Will they just be easing them through to Friday? Will they know the plan for Friday? Do you think they'll know the team already, Robert?
Yeah, I would have thought so. Just say it's about easing the players in. It's about making sure nothing's too strenuous the first few days. The players here in the squad have obviously had big, hard seasons, long, hard seasons, and they'll hopefully just be getting some kind of training sessions in their legs, some minutes in their legs, but there's nothing too strenuous. You can see in the background, the training, it's light work. There's nothing too tough for the players to get through, I say, after long, hard seasons for many of them. But I'm sure Steve will have his squad, have his team and line-up in his mind for Friday. And it'll just be a case of gearing up for that in the next few days. And Steve Clarke spoke yesterday about the planning that had gone into choosing the base. They're there until, is it Thursday? Do they head up to Munich on Thursday on the eve of the big game? Yeah, match day -1 as they call it, Roger, as you know. I think they'll go up there on Thursday after training here. The game obviously Friday, and then they'll return here to the Garmisch on Saturday. It's a great base. I mean, we're a little bit worried about, as I say, I keep mentioning the weather, but we're a little bit worried about what the pitch would be like, given there's been so much rain in the last few days. But the pitch looks fantastic out there. There's no issues whatsoever. It's like a bowling green. So I don't think that's any problem. But if you say, yeah, the squad will go to Munich on Thursday, ahead of the big game Friday. Robert, I know you're busy. You've got a media conference shortly after the Scotland training session. Thanks very much. We'll stay in touch. Thank you. I just want to welcome the Scottish Sun football editor, Derek McGregor. He is with the German squad this week. He's based in Nuremberg. And the obvious question, Derek, what about the hat?
Guten Morgen, Roger. Now, you've obviously sent me here to cover Scotland's group opposition. And I just want to assure you, and of course the Germans, the Swiss and the Hungarians, I'll be utterly impartial, completely unbiased, completely professional, Roger. And see these people in our business that so openly flout patriotism, they need to have a look at themselves. Anyway, how are we doing?
Anyway, moving on. The Germans, is there a danger they'll treat us lightly looking ahead to this game in Munich on Friday night?
I don't think they will actually, Roger, because I think what's been fascinating to see is that since, I think the last 2 friendly results, obviously a goalless draw against Ukraine, but, you know, even though they beat Greece 2-1, there's been a lot of anxiety, there's been a lot of focus on Manuel Neuer, there's a kind of forensic, look at the performance. Rudi Voller, the team director, has come out and been quite strong. You know, we can't afford to be so open against Scotland as we were against the Greeks. legends like Lothar Matthäus have put a focus on the team from a negative point of view. I think Matthäus even referred to Manuel Neuer as, previously he was our insurance policy, no longer. So, I detect there's a few jitters, there's a wee bit of anxiousness about this game. So I don't think they will take us lightly.
And do you think Gillian Nails, when he has riches throughout his 26-man squad, do the German media, are they sure what his starting lineup will be, or are there still a lot of question marks in that team, Derek?
I think there are a few question marks, Roger. I mean, it's a fascinating squad. I mean, you have obviously your established names, your Neuers, your Joshua Kimmich, your Antonio Rudiger, Ilkay Gundogan, but then you have the likes of Alexander Pavlovich, 20-year-old Bayern Munich. He's got one cap. He's not even played 20 Bundesliga games for Bayern, but he's seen clearly as one of the next big things. You have, Yamal Musiala, you have Florian Wirtz, so you've got a good blend. I don't think there's a certainty about the German team for Friday.
Up top, Derek, you had a story at the weekend, the injury fears over Nicholas Füllkrug, who started the Champions League final for Borussia Dortmund. If he's not fit, is it straightforward? Does Kai Havertz of Arsenal lead the line?
Yes. Yeah, Julian Nagelsmann was quite certain about that last week. He openly came out and made it clear that Havertz would be first choice. I think they have the concern over Füllkrug's ability to play the 90 minutes. He's been nursing a knee issue. Statistically, of their main strikers, he is their best man. He's only played 16 games. He's only been part of the Germany squad for about 18 months or so. And yet in his 16 games, he's got 11 goals. You'll know him yourself, Roger. For me, he's a proper striker. But they will go with Havertz. And, Havertz, 46 games for Germany, 16 goals. It's okay. But obviously a far different style. But it's, I think for long enough, Roger, actually, I think for Germany over the last 10 years, the problem has been the lack of a world-class striker. They've had good players.
Amazing when you say that. Derek, we'll let you go. I know you have a busy day. You're heading to the German media conference later on in the day. They are team based. Don't forget the laptop. Don't forget the notebook. And don't forget the hat.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Thanks very much for watching and listening. We'll be back tomorrow with the next instalment of our Go Ballistic Euro 2024 podcast. We are right through Scotland's campaign. Let's hope it's a history-making one for Steve Clarke and the players.